It is Wednesday, the 26th day of March, 2025, and my teeth are currently both so fresh and so clean. Just came back from the dentist. Historically, as I'm guessing most of you may feel the same, but I have hated the dentist. But that's mainly my own fault. I didn't take the greatest care of my teeth for the first 30 plus years of my life. So just awful. Combine that with lousy tooth genetics, and you get this bullshit that is currently occupying my face hole, or what's left of occupying my face hole. Not good. However, the Sonicare toothbrush is a top 10 invention in human history. That is a fact. Don't believe me? Well, get one, and your life will instantly change. It's a guarantee. A personal complaints and observations guarantee that your life will change. Why? Because when you hear the dentist say to you, and I quote, teeth look great, keep it up, end quote, for fucking multiple years on end, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And it's just something that I felt the need to share because it's fucking fantastic. Anywho, the unfortunate side of, human inventions is that there isn't one that can also help me and my water brain, like, remember shit that I said an hour or so prior. Because last week, at the start of the show, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about something serious and completely fucking botched it by not even bringing it up. So here I am, I'm doing it now so that I don't fucking forget it. Our longtime breakfast spot, wife and I have been going to Martin's in Abington Center, quote unquote, Abington, Massachusetts. Martin's. It's been there for, like, I don't know, fucking some iteration of it for like 70 years or so. Classic greasy spoon. Nothing fancy. And the reason that we've been going there for over a decade now, regularly, is because we know exactly what we're going to get. There's no surprises. And it's awesome. Like, the food is good. Right? I mean, I get basically the same fucking shit every weekend. The wife will kind of deviate on occasion, but unfortunately, Martin's had a kitchen fire, a couple weeks back. That has caused enough damage that they have to close for a couple of months to get it all fixed up. Now, normally, in a situation like this, you'd think that the owners would be holding out their hands and crying poor, which is the complete opposite from what I've seen here, which is kind of refreshing. And I think it's great. Now, someone else, and I don't know if this someone else has any relation to them or what the connection is, but this someone else has started some semblance of a GoFundMe page, like, not for the owners, right? But to essentially raise enough money to cover lost wages for the staff. Now, I think that is brilliant for a number of different reasons, right? Because, like, think about it. A wait staff, they're making what, $3.75 an hour is the minimum, wait staff wage or something like that. So I mean, they're not, like, their regular take-home pay is dog shit. They file for unemployment. What are they going to get? Probably their usual dog shit take-home pay from their hourly wage. So they're not getting tips. I don't pretend to know what the unemployment process for a tipped employee is. I don't know. But what I do know is that it is going to be markedly less than what they would get if they were working. So this GoFundMe They're trying to raise a bit more than 27 grand for everybody. I mean, there's probably at minimum 15 staff members, waitresses, cooks, dishwashers, the like, right? So now I have zero pull, zero. But if I could get a couple people to pitch in, that would certainly help. They're right now, last I checked yesterday, they're at about 12 grand, and they want to raise a little bit more than 27,000. So I posted a link in the link tree in the Instagram bio at Complaints Pod. I also posted it on the Facebook page, which I'm fairly certain it's just at Complaints and Observations on Facebook, whatever. But if you can send a few bucks, it would mean a lot to me. I'm sure it would mean a lot to the staff at Martin's as well. So mull it over, and then in a couple months, go back and eat some perfectly fine greasy spoon breakfast at Martin's. All right. Now, that's the serious part. Wanted to talk about that. Now, let's get to bullshit. So, on today's program, I'll be talking about your New England Patriots, your Boston Celtics, and the ownership change. I'll be talking about Red Sox opening day, which is tomorrow. We'll talk about snack foods. We'll talk about Tiger Woods' dick, movie trailer reviews, voicemails, and three gripes. All of that and little else on episode number 181 of Complaints and Observations.
Still, a voyage into the mundane and an exercise in futility. Swimming in the absurd while drowning in unearned self-importance. Entirely unworthy of your time. It is the world's worst podcast. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
All right, what's up? How's it going? How's things? How's your week been? How's your month been? How's your quarter been? It's funny, when you work in sales, you think, you start thinking about time a little bit differently, and it's no longer days and weeks, it's mostly months and quarters. I don't know why that felt appropriate to bring up. Mainly because my quarter has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. Our dear leader is currently instilling enough panic in far too many well-meaning, left-leaning, traveling types that scared them off. And so numbers across the board way down. Not good. Not good. Doesn't bode well for the old, bank account. But we'll see how things play out. I'm supposed to go back to Australia in July. That is most assuredly up in the air after this quarter. But who knows? Anyways, bunch of shit going on. And it seems that when I talk about sports, more people listen. So I guess that's a good thing, right? And we'll be doing a lot of that today. I have a lot of sportsy shit to talk about. And, the main reason is so that I forget about what's actually going on in the world. I'll concentrate on the toy aisle. But the big news yesterday, of course, was the Patriots spending a bit of money, bringing in Stefon Diggs, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings, the Buffalo Bills, the Houston Texans, etc., etc. Well, not etc., because that's it. Brought him in. Look, he's 31 years old. So in wide receiver parlance, okay, he's a bit elderly, but the guy, he's a good player. So I don't want to get it sort of mixed up that I'm not happy with the fact that they brought in a potentially number one wide receiver. I'm fine with that. Because when you look at his numbers over the course of, I'm going to say prior to last year, we only played 8 games. So he missed half the season. He was on pace for about 90 catches, less than 1,000 yards if you just kind of look at the numbers. But I mean, I don't know. You could probably extrapolate that and break it down a little bit further. Um, but I mean, he's had one monster season, which is prime. Okay. The downside, it was 2020, which I look at with a grain of salt because, there's nobody in the stands. It's kind of a weird situation. You probably had guys out that caused problems, because they were ill, whatever. Not the point. 127 catches, 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns. That was his best season. First team All Pro. He got close to that in 2022, second team All Pro, but he's had 5 seasons of 100 catches or more. He's had 6 seasons over 1,000 yards. And obviously his real success came with the Bills, and you got to think about it in a couple of different ways, right? A lot of talent, both up front, in the receiver room, and the quarterback. So those things combined led to some great numbers. And because he's good, here's my issue, okay? One, he's coming off an ACL. So anybody who's fooling themselves to say that he's going to be the 2020 version or the 2022 version of Stephon Diggs is kind of fooling themselves. Like, we all want that. If he goes out and catches 90 balls for 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns, that's a fucking win. That's a win. But my issue is listening to sports radio, and it's like everyone needs to see a doctor because that collective hard on is now over 12 hours. Like, let's push the fucking brakes a tad. Like, if he racks up 1,000 yards here, good, great, grand, love it. That should be the bare minimum for a guy who's now projected to be the number one receiver with a good quarterback. Like, the kid's good. Great, not even close yet. Good quarterback. But that's provided he stays healthy. You don't know how things are going to go. Now, he should be ready for week 1. Who the fuck knows? If he is, that makes it a little bit more palatable in my eyes. Because otherwise, if he has to go on PUP and is out for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it could be on injured reserve, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to get excited by it, but I'm more sort of relieved that they brought somebody in who can catch the ball more than anything else. And I am still confident that a reasonable offensive game plan with a reasonable offensive coordinator is going to make the guys that they have better than they were last year. I'm confident in that. Like, Douglas, I think, is kind of established himself as a competent wide receiver. Kendrick Bourne, competent wide receiver. Then you have 2 guys going into their second years who you don't know what the fuck they're going to do. Polk, Baker. Baker barely saw the field. I think he had 2 catches all year. So, I mean, there's a lot there. There's obviously some talent. I mean, there has to be talent. Look, fucking, who's the fucking kid that they drafted it? I mean, Chad Jackson had talent, right? Who's the other kid they took from Arizona State? What the fuck was the kid's name? N'Keal Harry. He had talent. They just couldn't play. 2 different things, right? So you figure out, you got to put the 2 things together. If you can, Terrific. If you can't, well, then you're going to be on your way. You'll be playing. You'll still be playing in Massachusetts, but you'll be in Worcester with the Pirates of the Indoor Football League. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. As we get closer and closer to the draft, I'm very interested in seeing what they do. I mean, that fourth pick, it just is. It becomes. I don't want to say it becomes more attractive once the draft starts, but I kind of feel that way. If two quarterbacks go in the first two picks, or within the first three picks, I should say, I mean, then you have your pick of the litter between either Hunter or Carter or literally anybody else. And so at that point, I'm taking calls, and if somebody wants to make me a stupid fucking offer to move up to take either of those guys, I'd probably entertain it. At the same time, I would not have a single issue if they ended up with either of those two players. Not an issue at all. Because I think they're game changers, both of them. And I don't care who you've signed to play the defensive line. If you watch Abdul Carter, he wears the same fucking number at Penn State, the same fucking school as Micah Parsons. If Abdul Carter can be Micah Parsons, give me that all day, every day. If he can even be 80% of Micah Parsons, I'll take it. I would just prefer that he doesn't have the same, desire to be tweeting all day long. But yeah, look, the draft is going to be fascinating, honestly, from the top down. And you have picks. What do you got? 4 or 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. You have to hit. I mean, honestly, you have to hit all of them, every one of them, because you need impact players and you need them right away. You need guys that can step in, play football, play Mike Vrabel's system, whatever that may be. I hope it's a touch different than what he did in Tennessee, only because, ultimately that bombed out. But let's see. I'm very, very curious. What else? I also want to talk about the Celtics. $6.1 billion for a basketball team that does not own the stadium. Woof. Wow. Wick's dad totally iced out Steve Pagliuca, a guy who was already there, a guy who probably would have continued this stretch of winning. But, because Wick's dad, who is, going to die soon, still needed the most money possible. Greed has no shelf life. And so Wick and his dad took the highest bid instead of the bid that would have been best for the team, best for the fan base, and probably only from what I'm hearing, 300 to 400 million less, which is just tax money. So who the fuck cares? Oh, I know. Wick and his dad care because they want to get their fucking jollies off by saying that their team that does not own the fucking stadium that they play in, keep calling it stadium, it's not stadium. 6.1 billion. It's obscene, right? Just the number in and of itself when you hear it is obscene. That is a level of wealth that none of us, I don't even want to say none of us will ever sniff, because we're not even going to get within sniffing distance of that kind of wealth. And again, don't lie to yourself if you're sitting here saying, well, no, Dave, what are you talking about? Yeah, fuck off. If you're listening to this crap, you're poor as fuck. In their eyes. Maybe not in mine. Not mine. because most everybody that's listening to this program is in a better financial position than I, admittedly. But you're not in their stratosphere, so those kinds of numbers being thrown around is a completely different ballgame. Now, for Wick and his dad to ice out Pags, a guy who has been here, is front and center often for games, uh, is a legitimate part of the team. Honestly, legitimate part of the team. He's not going to be around anymore because, again, Wick and his dad needed to make way more money than anybody else. So, hey, congrats to Wick and his dad. Like, I'm not even going to give his dad, the courtesy of providing him a name. One, because I don't know it. Two, because I'm not gonna be bothered to look it up because I don't really fucking care. Wick was the face, and his dad just gave him the money to do it. And then apparently, I don't think Wick's dad liked the fact that Wick was having success with his money. That's my guess. All this fucking poppycock about estate planning, get the fuck out. Please. Estate planning. You're a multi-bazillionaire. You don't need estate planning. Estate planning is for people who have a little bit of money and we need to make sure the government doesn't come and take it. Get fucking bent, Mr. Grosbeck, whatever your fucking first name is. But you iced out Pags, you ruined it. You ruined the fucking Celtics. And because here's the problem. They are going to be in the second tax bracket, whatever the fucking cockamamie NBA salary shit is. Instead of just having a salary cap and making sure that people don't go over it, you've got so many fucking levels to this thing. Bird rights, you've got trade exceptions, shelves, tax shelves, whatever the fuck that is. It's like if you sit there and look at it, it's like, okay, I can see it. I know what all these levers are. I know what all these things are, but it's pointless. Like, fucking get rid of it. But nope, you can't do that because you need to make sure that teams can go over it, but then they're punished. Naughty card for the Celtics. And the naughty card in this instance is going to be a $500 million nut that's going to be due now for the new owners if they don't break up this team. So if they do not win the title this year, which I still think they can, if they don't, it's going to be a while before another one comes along because this team's getting blown up. Now, does that mean it's going to be major pieces? No, I think you're going to have Tatum, you're gonna have Brown, and I really do think that Derek White is as close. He's not entirely untouchable, but it'd be foolish to let him walk. Everybody else, I mean, Porzingis has 1 year and then he's a free agent. So after next year, he's not coming back. So savor the flavor. You're not going to see him again after next season. Um, Al might stick around, but he's not going to make much. And then all these bench guys gone. Hauser, Cornette. I think Cornette's on like a longer deal, but Pritchard will probably be traded, even though he doesn't make a ton of money. Who's the fucking other guy? God, my brain is so useless. I know who the fuck it is. I can see his face. Number 4. He took fucking Isaiah Thomas's number. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. Bother me. So look, that's how it's gonna go. You're gonna see a lot of guys that are playing in Maine this year. You're gonna see them next year. Um, Drew Holiday. Fuck. God, you're a moron. Drew Holiday. Yeah, Gonzo. I don't know how. His fucking salary's $30 million. 30. Ooh. So get used to Baylor Shireman. You'll see a little bit more of Drew Peterson. J.D. Davidson, he'll be back. Jordan Walsh. Those are the guys. Hopefully, Keita sticks around because I like fucking Portuguese. Let's go. I mean, Cornette's only making a cunt hair over $2 million. Luke Cornette's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's weird, but he's pretty good. So yeah. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. A lot of curiosity on today's program. We're going to talk more about curiosity when we come back from this very, very short break. It's not really a break. It's just me stopping to have breakfast. All right, let's move on to the local 9, who I'm going to be fair and honest when I say that I don't entirely hate this team, which is nice. Like, it's the first in a while. And, it has nothing to do with the players, really. It has more to do with, roster creation and the people in charge and things of that nature. Now, um, I don't. Like, I talked a little bit about, the over-under and the 86 and the rotation, but I mean, the lineup is sound, okay? You have a sound lineup from literally, if everyone contributes, which it's a toss-up, but my biggest issue is just guys getting on. Nobody can fucking hit in this league anymore. Like, it honestly, it makes no sense to me how nobody can fucking hit. Like, the highest projected batting average, according to RotoChamp, right? Which is, here's another problem. Like, just Google like projected Red Sox starting lineup and see if you can find anything from a reporter that's anywhere close to the city. You're not gonna find it. It's honestly, it's fucking stupid. Like, how on earth do we not have local coverage of this fucking team? Stupid. But you have 9 guys, okay? Duran, Devers, Bregman, Casas, Story, Christian Campbell. What's up with that kid's hair, by the way? Is that natural? Wild. Uh, Willie Abreu, Connor Wong, and Sadion Rafaela. That's the projected lineup on this particular website that I could find. The highest projected batting average that they have is Rafi Devers at 269. And the highest OPS, 848, also Rafi Devers. Like, am I missing something? What am I missing? Because I don't seem to, I cannot grasp the concept of of not hitting. Jaron Duran led the team in batting average last year, 285. Rightfully so, an all-star. He actually finished 8th in the MVP voting. Wow. How about that? I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? 8th. AL MVP. Where are the votes? It doesn't even say like what the votes were. That's fucking dumb. It gives first place and then share. Aaron Judge got 100% in that fucking bandbox of a ballpark that he plays in. You know what the worst part about it is, though, with baseball is I look at some of these names and I have no fucking clue. Like, there's some dude in Seattle named Cal Raleigh. I'm convinced that's not a real person. This guy, Cal Raleigh, 546 at bats. He hit a whopping 220, but he hit 34 home runs and had 100 RBI, so he finishes 12th. Huh? What? It's just not valued. It's not a valued stat anymore. Batting average. Ted Williams's body is rolling over in its grave, while his head is still frozen solid. Hardy har har. Yuck yuck yuck. Also, in 10th in the MVP voting last year was Plymouth Pilgrim's legend, Brent Rooker, of your Sacramento Athletics. Kid's good. Very nice kid. Very quiet. Very quiet young man back in 2013, 2014. So yeah, look, the lineup should score runs, which, look, I suppose is the name of the game, right? But, only one guy projected with over 90 runs scored, and that's Duran. But he's leading off, so, I mean, theoretically, with Devers and Bregman behind him, he should score. He should score 100 runs. Like he scored fucking 111 last year. Doesn't matter. Bobby Witt is gonna win the MVP. That kid is fucking good. He's good. Bobby Witt Jr. Canton, Mass. Legend. Even though I don't think he ever lived in Canton. Bobby Witt Sr. from Canton. Bobby Witt Jr. probably from Texas. Ay. 86 and a half wins is the over under. I look, smash that over. You know? Uh, but at the same time, Vegas clearly knows something that the rest of us don't, because this team really should win 89, 90, 91 games. They should. The bullpen isn't great. The rotation has a relatively unproven ace. And I say relatively because he played for some fucking horseshit White Sox teams. Some of the worst teams in the history of the game. And he was on them. After that, they have a bunch of number threes, fours, and fives. Like, there's nobody here that is like, that you could say is a solid number two. And this is my other problem with like modern day baseball. Starting pitchers with ERAs in the fours being trotted out there on a regular basis. Like, I don't know. I don't. I don't know. These are very like meager projections. I don't like this. I gotta find some other. I gotta find some better projections, because that's pretty fucking bad. Um, but it. While I think they should win that many games, it's going to be hard. But the number of starting pitchers that they allegedly have, right? If you look at their depth chart, there's fucking 8 starters. 8. Between guys that are injured and like Bayo's hurt, Lucas Giolito, whatever the fuck he can be, he's still hurt. Cutter Crawford, he's hurt. So I mean, you're gonna get Dick Fitz. You get one lefty and a fuckload of right-handed pitching, because that's what you've got. It's just foolish. Like, Tanner Houck had a great first half last year and then died. So I mean, it kind of it's going to be. I think it's going to be tough. and I'm contradicting myself left and right here, but at the same time, like, they should be better. They should be better. Bunch of guys in the fours. God, that is just frustrating as hell. Oh, don't forget, 95-year-old Aroldis Chapman is your closer. Gotta love guys who beat up women coming in to close out a game. Really cool. Um, I mean, hopefully that changes once Liam Hendricks is like ready. Because I'd much rather have Hendricks in his fucking bubblegum and Cheerios elbow. God, it's bad. Like, I don't know. This is what I dislike about the game now, and I hate that I do, but I just find it all so foolish. Pitching is just one of these things that, while the game itself has just gotten so stupid and borderline unwatchable. Last year was better just because of the pitch clock. They fucking sped things up to make it tolerable. Like when you have starting pitchers who are, their praises are sung for starting 30 games, throwing 180 innings. Meanwhile, most guys are going to throw 160, maybe get to 30. So, they're going to go out there, they're going to throw 5 innings, 80 to 90 pitches if they pitch well, and then cash a check that's, higher than my yearly salary or three. I'm just not sold. I'm not sold on them yet. I don't know. Check back in. We'll talk about it more as the season progresses, and obviously Memorial Day being the first real tent pole. Um, but yeah, I would, if I was a gambling person. If I was a gambling person, I'd take the over. 86.5 seems way too low, especially since they were a 500 team last year, and they should be 10 games better. I think. Yeah. What's the other thing I want to talk about? Sport. Oh, Tiger Woods, and specifically Tiger Woods' dick. Let's think about this for a second, okay? If you're a woman and you know Tiger's history, now that's not to say that modern day men are not basically sticking their cock anywhere that they feel like it, because they pretty much are. But Tiger Woods is a prolific wick dipper, if you will. And he has put that thing in places that most people may not. The other day, he decides he's going to post on Instagram a photograph. It's him and a woman who looks suspiciously like his ex-wife. It is not his ex-wife. And so I thought, based on the caption, that it was him, that he was getting married. That's the impression that I got. So then I'm thinking, all right, there's a lot to unpack here. Like, instantly it was, who's this woman? Clearly Tiger has a type, right? Why is he getting married again? Like all these things. And then it gets even like stranger. This woman was previously married to the coke-addled Don Trump Jr. So now Tiger is sniffing around in places that, um, oh God, yeah, I don't want to use that one. You know how things are going these days with the old brown shirts, don't you? So I don't want to say, I don't want to say much. But Tiger's sniffing around in places that that other people have sniffed around in. that are a bit, I don't want to say suspect. That's not the right, but I guess you could, because in some cases he has been a suspect. But it's like, Tiger, what on earth, buddy? Like, can't you just let it be? Like, just be with the woman. If you like her, great. I'm happy for you. Like, everybody deserves it. Like, second, third, 12th chances. Everyone deserves those things, okay? So be with her. If that makes you happy, fine. If she's gonna help you after your surgery get a little better, and maybe play one more competitive Masters tournament somewhere down the road. Just one. Like, I'm not asking for a lot. In fact, I don't think anybody who likes golf is asking for a lot, because most of us know that you're donezo. We get it. Valiant effort here with the indoor league. You know, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's I don't want to say that it's unwatchable. I've watched it a bit more since I talked about it last, and it's fine. It's background noise. And last night, Billy Horschel sank a putt to win for the Atlanta Drive, win the inaugural series of the TGL. Billy Horschel, massive West Ham fan, by the way. So come on, Billy. Nicely done. Billy played. He's played well, which is good. But yeah, man, Tiger Woods' dick. God, what? I need like a I need like a South Park Tiger Woods dick character, like the old J-Lo hand. Oh, Ben. Oh, Ben. Oh, I love you so much, Ben. But it'd be Tiger Woods' dick, just running into people all over the place, indiscriminately. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things when you think about it, you start to think about some of the weird fucking things that the guy has done over the course of his life, and then you start to think about some of the weird places that he's been over the course of his life, and then you keep going down the line, and it just gets to all the weird places that he's fucking stuck his cock, buddy. I don't know. Good thing you're a fucking dynamite golfer and a shitty driver, mind you, of cars, not the golf ball, cars. I thought about like writing something out for that, like scripting it like I do with some other stuff, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go off the cuff here with Tiger Woods' cock and see where it goes. And of course, it was mostly unfunny, but that's just how it is. It's entirely unserious, which is the best part. Anyway, so I have a couple other things. Uh, I think there's some voicemails, or at least a voicemail. There's probably two or five from Mike. I have three movie trailer reviews, but I might only do two. But this is a split shift here today, so I'll be finishing this up later. So you'll be getting the drop. You'll be getting the episode drop tonight. Maybe, who knows? Not that you fucking care. Nobody listens to this fucking shit anyway. All right, so as I mentioned, I have a couple of voicemails from everyone's favorite complainer, Mike. Let's dive into these. The transcript from Google on this first one makes me a touch uncomfortable, Mike. Just a heads up.
Dave, it's your buddy Mike here. I just got to say, I really missed you the week that you were off, and I was I was so excited when you came back. Um, so I just want to let you know how much you mean to me and, how much the show, I don't know, I get really excited for it. But on the flip side, talking about, WWE and Raw, and you're right, I do need to put it on. I do need to watch it. I've just got this block when it comes to TV, Netflix, and all this Roku stuff. I mean, I just miss the days when you could look at the guide on the cable and you know exactly what the guide looks like, and you see that block of time that says, something you really want to watch, WWE, Raw, and it's so much easier to just turn on and look at it. Um, so I gotta get that down. I really don't watch the TV. The one show that my wife turned me on to, super random. I don't know if you've ever heard this show called Somebody Somewhere. I guess it's on Max. And if you look at it, it really does not, on its face value, does not look like anything exciting. It's about this overweight woman. She lives in like the Midwest. She has kind of an interesting cast of, kind of lame looking friends at first, a gay guy, another, a transgender, woman turned to man, um, and their kind of friend circle there, and just seems like a very boring thing, but you really connect with the characters. I don't know, very, very touching show. But yeah, I don't know. I got to get into it. I got to lock in. Maybe that could be the thing I work on, and then that's something we talk more about here, on our back and forths, because I'm all about it. So, anyways, just, I'm glad to see you're back, and, maybe go back to 2 times a week. I believe in you. I think you can do it. You're the most powerful podcaster in sports entertainment. We all know this.
All right, so the transcript was a bit accurate in the beginning, and I felt uncomfortable. However, he moved on, which I was happy to hear. Now, he starts talking about a program on Max. First and foremost, I don't have it. I don't have Max. Even if I did have Max, I probably wouldn't seek it out. And here's the thing, okay? I know I've talked about this previously, but when it comes to television and movies, if I'm not bought in like from the first 30 seconds, I don't think I'm sticking around. And I need to do it on my own. All right. There are very few suggested programs or movies that I'm like, oh my God, that meets all of my lofty expectations that were foisted upon me by somebody else. Literally foisted. So I'm sure that program, whatever it is that you're talking about, Mike, I'm sure it's terrific, right? I'm not gonna watch it. I honestly hate television. Like, I watch the same fucking shit. I watch sports. I watch the Food Network. I watch like oldish sitcoms, and even those are few and far between. Like, that's the extent of my television watching. It's mostly sports, and that includes professional wrestling. Somebody was talking about something at work the other day about, like, on the 17th, there's a company outing, and it's the same weekend as Easter. So someone's like, "Oh my God, Easter's that weekend? Oh, geez!" And I'm thinking to myself, and I said out loud, "Oh wait, that's WrestleMania weekend. Yeah, I can't be doing anything." They all looked at me like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Yeah, it's WrestleMania weekend. Weekend, the entire fucking weekend. Like, Easter takes a back seat. Sorry. I don't particularly care for the fact that Easter is so late. I mean, not Easter. That WrestleMania is so late this year. Because it's usually fun to have it like over my birthday. My birthday this year is on a Sunday, a couple weeks prior, so it would have been fucking fantastic to again have WrestleMania on the day of my birth. But no, Triple H had to go and fucking screw that up. Anyways, I have another one from Mike. Let's give it a listen.
So, Dave, I finally remembered what that thing was I called about, and it was actually a rare complaint. This was the call that got cut off last week. And the complaint is people who don't want to leave a situation and you're stuck. I'm sure you must have been there plenty of times, whether it's a party, whether it's people going out, whether it's any type of event. I don't know, and it's, and all of a sudden when it's time to leave, say it's a family party or something, and then, well, now the two people are talking who had, didn't talk the whole night. Or, if you're going out, like when I go out in Vegas, the few times I go out with my coworkers, these guys just never want to go in. It could be, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and, and I'm the lame guy for trying to sneak out there. I don't know about you, but I mean, after I've had dinner and, and a drink or two, I mean, if that's all it is, then I'm usually pretty good. I don't know if that makes me lame, but kind of makes me not want to go out with some of my work people. Maybe I'm just the old guy. I don't know, but I'd be interested to hear what your take is on this, because, you kind of get to the point where it's like, certain people you're going to go out with, you're forced to be that lame guy if you don't want to go out till 2 in the morning. But that's the complaint. People who don't know when to leave.
Great call, Mike. Great complaint. Thank you. So I think this also sort of falls into the same category as people who like don't know when to end a phone call or phone conversation, right? I had a guy I was talking to yesterday. I mean, it should have been a 10-minute call. It ended up being close to 40 minutes. And it's always because he just kept asking another question. Like as I'm wrapping up, clearly wrapping up, he'd be like, "Oh, one more thing." And then he fucking said this like 6 times. "Oh, I always have one more question." So then it finally got, I'm like, "Do you have more questions?" Because there's nothing worse than preparing to be over, preparing for the call or the conversation to end, only for it to continue. And it falls in line with what you're saying, Mike. It makes perfect sense. When you think you're done for the night, and then there's more people that want to fucking keep going. First and foremost, you're not lame, right? Also, are you the old guy now over there? Oof. Um, but you're in Vegas. So, if you're in Vegas and you're in by midnight, yeah, that's kind of lame. Any place else, I'm with you. I have zero problems just getting up and leaving. I don't have an issue with that at all. But there's layers. At least I feel that there's layers. And even if you're in Vegas for work, like you gotta, you gotta enjoy yourself. And look, you've been to Vegas enough, so maybe it's just lost its luster. I've been to Vegas a bunch, but 90% of the times I've been there, it's been for pleasure, so it's a little bit different. But even the times that I've been there for work, not that much different. So, it really depends. Don't think of yourself as lame. Think of yourself as you just don't fucking care. Like you don't care. You're all done. And when you're all done, you're all done. Don't let anybody pressure you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Like be your own man, Mike. You're an adult. You can make these decisions. You don't need somebody giving you shit because you don't want to, be out until 2 in the morning. It's fine. Granted, it's Vegas and you should be out until 2 in the morning, but again, if you don't want to be, you don't have to be. Do you follow? Do you see where I'm going here? There's no need to conform, right? And I'm called a contrarian often for a multitude of reasons, and you know, I don't understand it because I don't get people caring about what I do or think or anything else, and just the same as I don't really care about what anybody else says, does, or thinks, and nor should you. So if you don't want to be out, and you know what, Mike, regardless, even if you are in Vegas, you don't need to be out. If you don't want to be, you don't need to be. Say it loud, say it proud. I'm going to bed. Fuck you guys. Especially, and you probably got to get up and stand on your feet for 8 hours in the convention hall again the next day, right? You don't want to do that. Hungover or just tired. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Still, it's Vegas on the company dime. Take advantage of it. Yeah. Well, thanks for calling, Mike. As always, appreciate it. 617-804-1557. Mike's the only one calling. He brings great content. If there's anyone else that wants to call, please, 617-804-1557. Call in, talk, give opinions, complain, and, make it entertaining, like Mike does. And make it useful, like Mike does as well. Be like Mike.
Welcome to Regal Cinemas. Refreshments are available in the lobby. And please, keep our theater clean by disposing of trash in specified containers. And remember, gift certificates are available for any special occasion. Enjoy the show.
All right, it is time once again for movie trailer reviews, where I watch the trailer so that you don't have to. Not that that makes a lick of sense, but that's the point. I watch the trailer because I'm not going to watch the movie. In most cases. Trailer number one: Shopping for Superman. Shopping for Superman. It's a documentary about comic book stores. Yep. Sounds dull, doesn't it? But look, the trailer looks pretty good. Brings a bit of the feels, which is always interesting, especially with a bunch of dorks. Which is funny because because they are. But it's one of those industries that everyone has says or said is dead or has been dying for, what, 3 decades now? There are still a lot of shops, as far as I know. I haven't been to a comic book shop in God knows how long. And I went to the one that was in Brockton, and I'm fairly certain that it was, if it's not still open, it was open still sometime within the last few years. Let me see. New England Comics. I wonder if it just moved. But then again, I'm never really over there in that part of town, so I don't know. Let me see. New England Comics. They are still open. Fucking hell. And they have multiple locations? Wow, look at that. Dude, come on. Like I can't buy into they've got 4 locations. Brockton, Quincy, Malden, Norwood. New England Comics, New England's #1 retailer. Wow. I had no clue. That's fucking wild. How long has this been open? I wonder if they say in their like about page. No, they still have a mask policy on their website. Okay, okay. Oh man, this website is fucking horrible. So maybe it is closed. Oh, it says 2025. Wow, this thing looks like it was built in fucking uh GeoCities. Yeah, oh man, that is bad. Somebody needs to get a hold of them and be like, "Hey, I'll fix your website." Yikes. But yeah, so I mean that kind of proves that they're doing okay. Probably not as good as the heyday, whenever that was, or like during that the death of Superman disaster, which they talk about in the film, and you notice it in the trailer. But there's a dude who owns a shop. I want to say he's out near Chicago or something, and he comes on. He's like, I could sell 1,000 comic books a day, and it would take 27 years for me to run out. I'm like, come on, buddy. He either said 1,000 or 100. Either way. Long story short, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's the sort of thing that if I'm on a plane, this is my level of movie tolerance. Where if I'm stuck on a plane and I'm flipping through the TV and I see it, I'll think about watching it. Oh man, yeah. So shopping for Superman. I wonder if they had to get permission for Superman. I don't know. Anyways, movie number two. Now here's one that I am legitimately thinking of seeing. It was at the movie theater that's like 2 minutes from my house, and I thought about going. The name of the film is Eephus, Eephus. If you're not a baseball fan, it's a pitch. Don't worry, okay? But look, if you're old, if you've ever liked baseball, if you enjoy humorous film, and if you happen to know that Bill Lee is one of the coolest motherfuckers on the planet, this movie is for you. It's a story about an old ball field that's used by old ball players to keep playing ball. And they do it one last time on this particular field because the town is planning to build a school in its place. And honestly, my first 3 points here should be all you need, especially Bill Lee, because he's literally in this movie. And apparently, he actually throws an eephus in the film. I had the distinct pleasure of meeting Bill Lee, hanging out with Bill Lee. Just a supremely strange individual, at the same time, genuinely kind and funny as hell. Just, again, one of the coolest motherfuckers I've ever met. I'm I had in my script I'm absolutely going to see this, but I mean, let's be honest, I may see this. If it's still playing next week, then I'll go. Because I have no time for the rest of the week and through the weekend. Zero. Surprisingly. Although, do I have Friday? Maybe I have Friday. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I do. All right. Well, if it's playing Friday, maybe I'll go Friday night. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, 1,000 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics score currently 100%. Now, it's critics, but that's saying something. 100%. It's been out. Apparently, technically, it's been out like in wide release for about a month, but it was really technically released in 2024. But still, 100%. I mean, honestly, that's fucking wild and pretty awesome. But there's no yeah, 58 reviews so far on Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. And there's only been fewer than 50 uh what the fuck? Honestly, people are so fucking miserable. The wide on is 1 star, half star, 1 star, half star. Oh, get the fuck up. These are the motherfuckers that try to talk about you know, funny shit, what? Well, I mean, honestly, that's bad. So this is probably going to be like a 50, if that. You've got people that love it and people that hate it. Because there's a mix of 1 star and 5 star. It was a chore to watch. It was long and boring. It's a fucking baseball movie. What do you expect? Good grief. As someone who's generally miserable, who's not miserable, it just comes off that way. Some of these people are fucking miserable. I'm still giving it 1,000 out of 10. This Karen, whose name is Karen, seriously, I fell asleep twice. Go fuck yourself, Karen. Fucking hate people. Seriously, go fuck yourself. All right, you assholes. It's time for your favorite part of the program when it's almost over. Affectionately known as Three Gripes. Let's see. Gripe number 1: getting shit on your clothes on the way to work. What a fucking drag. What an absolute drag. And fuck. I was eating a protein bar in the car yesterday because the train schedule's all fucked up, and so I got to the train much earlier than I should have. And so I'm sitting in the car with one of those RX bars. You ever had one of those that it's like 3 egg whites, 6 almonds, 2 dates, and God knows what else. That's what the front of the package is. Well, this one has chocolate in it, and it wasn't listed on it. They're fantastic. They're really good. I like them. But I managed to get chocolate on my khakis while I'm sitting there in the car before I even get on the fucking train. It's like, Jesus suffering fuck. Like, what am I supposed to do here? Chocolate on my fucking khakis. And it just makes me like, look, I am generally looked upon as fat and unkempt. I'm fat. I'm not really unkempt. Okay? But when I have chocolate on my pants, what the fuck? Like, what am I supposed to do there? I fucking hate that. Gripe number 2: beer ads. Where have all the good beer advertisers gone? Kids aren't drinking beer anymore. And I think partially to blame is that there's no fun commercials around to entice or lure them in. Like real men of genius. Now, granted, a lot of them were audio, radio, and shit like that, but I mean, this is stuff that could translate to social media. And maybe they're doing it, but it's not popping up in my algorithm, even though it should. I'm getting far too many scantily clad moms on Instagram. Still, the nerve. But like, Where's the marketing for Bud Light? Where's the marketing for Modelo and like Dos Equis? Dos Equis was probably the last beer brand that actually invested in some sort of cheeky marketing, right? Like I know people my age that are old assholes like myself can vividly remember quality beer advertising from back in the day. Spuds McKenzie. Like fucking Spuds McKenzie. You gonna try to tell me that wasn't geared towards kids? Yeah. And maybe I should tweak this and say, where the fuck is Anheuser-Busch and their marketing team? And please spare me the bullshit with this transgender girl who they sent a six-pack to so that she would post it on her fucking Instagram that made all you fucking douchebag righties get your panties in a bunch. Like bring back the real men of genius. Let's dig up the nostalgia. You know what else you could do? Fucking talk to Eric Clapton and give him some money and have him do the fucking kick ass version of After Midnight with the ice cold Michelob Light in the background. That wasn't even geared towards kids. It was just fucking awesome. I was about 10 years old when I first saw that. And I was ready to run through a goddamn brick wall for one of those beers. Gripe number 3, more advertising. As a wannabe ad man, it's there's a lot of things that I just simply do not understand about the business. I don't. Okay? One of the things that and I mentioned radio a second ago. Now, this would be the perfect time for Bud Light to strike with a coordinated radio campaign because radio is probably much cheaper advertising wise than it was back in the 90s, right? So there's about 10 stations that you could advertise on and maybe another 50 or so that you could dabble in. Boom, now you got some viral moments, where people are listening to the sports radio and then an ad comes on and they're filming it on their phone. Next thing you know, they're sharing it to their TikTok. Yeah? Think, Anheuser-Busch. That's free advice. However, radio as a whole, a dying industry, right? And those that have survived are struggling to continue to do so. But it's a touch insulting as a regular, long-time listener of the Sports Hub, 98.5, the Sports Hub. When I hear a commercial, first for the Beasley Best Community of Caring, and its mission to, quote, make a difference in the communities we serve, end quote, which is immediately then followed by another commercial, a paid ad, because apparently, I don't know if they're paid for this or if they're forced to play it or what, but it's an ad featuring a voiceover of our new head of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, who is a fucking bootlicking clown and a general piece of shit. And the ad is like, quote, if you're a criminal, the border is closed. It's like, okay, no shit. Do you think, and here's the part that gets me, right? Does the current administration think that illegal immigrants are listening to the radio and are getting like scared at Kristi Noem's voiceover? All that is, it has zero effect on the actual problem, which is people crossing the border illegally. This does nothing for it. All it does is fucking scare white people. All you want is to fucking rile up your base so that they start ratting out people who are brown. That's it. It serves no purpose whatsoever other than that. Because for Kristi Noem to say, if you're a criminal, the border is closed, it's fucking propaganda. It's garbage. There's no place for it. And for a company like Beasley, who I understand, if they're being paid for it, shame on you. If they're not being paid and they're forced to play it, which wouldn't surprise me because it's state media now, all media in this country now, state media. If they're forced to play it, that's one thing. If they take money from it and make money, like, you should be ashamed. At the very least, like, put it on at a different time other than opposite your Beasley Best Community of Caring, when that ad is entirely geared towards people who do not give a fuck about their community. Fucking, the border is closed. It'd be funny, there's like some illegal immigrants. They're playing on their phone and they're just listening to random sports stations across the country, and all of a sudden they hear Christy Nome, and they're like, "Ay de me!" We turn around and they go back to El Salvador. Well, we can't go. Christy Nome says that crossing the border is illegal. Fucking clowns. Shit for brains. Assholes. Anyways, look, that's it. I'm done. Yeah, again, split shift. So wrapping this up later than I would have hoped. But I got it out. Huzzah! It's amazing how fucking unbelievably slow I've become at just about everything. I've always been generally slow. It's just now I'm like getting slower. I don't know, man. Some radical changes need to happen here on this side of the screen. None of which I'm like really geared to do. But anyways, so here's my phone. Here's my phone. Just gonna look at the calendar for next week. I don't think I have anything. No. Okay, I have nothing next week, so that should be standard program. Might be the week after that there's an issue, but um I don't know. No, I think it's mostly clear sailing from here on out on Wednesdays. But yeah. 617-804 1557. 617-804-1557. That's the complaint line. I need you to like post it in your socials, make stickers and put it up all over town. Whatever. Put for a good time, call. For a bad time, call. Free, I don't know, free drum lessons, free, something stupid, free something. 617-804-1557. We'll be back next week. But in the meantime, you can go to the Instagram page, at Complaints Pod. That's where you're going to find the link to the fundraiser for Martin's. That'll be in my link tree. You can click on the link in the bio. That's where you'll find it. Feel free to donate. Your money will go a long way, I assure you. What else? I have a Facebook page. That link is also on the Facebook page, but generally, fuck Facebook. Where else am I? Twitter, Threads. I don't use either of those much anymore. I used Twitter a little bit to fucking yell at the commuter rail yesterday. Ooh, that should have been a gripe. Fuck. Save it for next week. But yeah. Listen, as always, I ask that you take good care of yourself and take care of each other, right? We're all in this together. We're all in the same dumb, fucking, stupid, spinning rock here. And life is better when we're, somewhat cooperative. Difference of opinion is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Think about that. All right. But yeah, that'll do. Godspeed. Ta-ta.